Welcome to Module 6 of 10 Success Factors for Service Desk Agents. I'm Jeff Rumberg, co-founder and managing partner of MetricNet. Today, we're going to cover success factor number 6, managing your career. Why career management? Why is this one of the 10 success factors? Well, the short answer is that no one is going to manage your career for you, so you have to do it yourself. That is, take responsibility and manage your own career. And by the way, this is true not only in IT service and support, it's true regardless of where you are in your career or what industry you work in. So what does it mean to manage your career? In a nutshell, it means that you take ownership of your career decisions and actively plan and make decisions that advance your career. In other words, you don't leave your career path to mere chance, which, somewhat surprisingly, is what most people do. One byproduct of the default approach to career planning, which is no career planning at all, is that job dissatisfaction is at an all-time high in virtually every industry. In fact, that's one of the factors that fueled the Great Resignation following the COVID pandemic. There are many dimensions to career management. There is, of course, the self-assessment. That is, knowing what you like and knowing what you're good at. Many books have been written on this topic, so I won't attempt to reinvent the wheel on this self-assessment. But I will say that if you're fortunate, what you like and enjoy doing and what you're good at will have quite a bit of overlap, and your job won't necessarily feel like a job at all because you're enjoying it. You enjoy doing it. An obvious first step in career management is to simply discover what's already available to you. Many support desks, for example, with the help of HR, have documented career progressions that are available to their agents. These might include a managerial track where you progress from agent to team lead to QA, QC to manager. They might also include a technical track where you progress from agent level 1 to agent level 2, and so on as your technical skills improve. Oftentimes, these documented career paths within an enterprise are quite detailed. They may include a set of required courses, certifications, or other skills that might be acquired to achieve each new level. In fact, the more detailed the career path is, the better. You're better off with a detailed roadmap than to be left guessing about how you get from your current position to that next level in your career. Take advantage of these ready-made resources because if a career path has already been documented and it's consistent with your career goals, then you've already got a head start in managing your career. Another obvious first step is to ask the leaders in your area what their career progression has been and what advice they might have for you as you navigate your career going forward. The key here is to simply take advantage of the resources that are already available to you. Goal setting is another significant dimension of career management. One reason that many in the workforce seem to get bogged down and stuck in their careers can be traced to a lack of goal setting. As I mentioned in a prior success factor, if you don't know where you're going, you're probably not going to get there. That's true when it comes to your career path as well. Goal setting starts with having a vision of where you want to be 1, 3, 5, or even 10 years from now. Write it down. Doesn't mean anything if you're not willing to write it down. Now, work backwards from that vision. Just by way of example, let's say that your goal is to become the manager over all of IT support within 5 years. Your goal, of course, is going to be different. We're just using this as an example. You might aspire to become the CIO of an organization, or to become a developer, or become a database administrator, or a network engineer. If I work backwards from my goal, I want to have milestones along the way that tell me if I'm on track to hitting my goal. So to continue with our example of becoming the IT service and support manager, what does that career path look like at year 4, at year 3, at year 2, and 1 year from now? What is the progression that you expect to go through to achieve your 5-year goal. If I'm an entry-level agent, I might expect to be a senior agent or an agent level 2 at the 1-year mark. At the 2-year mark, I might expect to be a supervisor or a team lead. And at the 3-year mark, I might expect to be working as a trainer or a workforce scheduler or a QA/QC analyst to broaden my skill set beyond that of an agent. At year 4, my goal might be to manage the entire service desk or perhaps desktop support or field services. And then at year 5, again, my goal is to be the manager over all of IT service and support. And we have to be realistic here. Plans never go as planned. That's a known fact. However, you can swing the odds in your favor and have more pleasant surprises than unpleasant surprises in your career path if you know how to pivot. Pivot is just a fancy word for changing direction. A willingness and ability to pivot doesn't mean that you're giving up on your goal. Rather, it means that circumstances dictate that you must find a workaround to achieve your goal. And when I use that term, circumstances dictate, I'm stating the obvious, which is that there will be challenges along the way. There will be barriers to overcome. No one executes a career plan in a linear fashion from start to finish without some detours along the way. Creativity and flexibility are your allies in career management. Creativity allows you to envision your goals and set milestones. It enables you to improvise workarounds that in turn allow you to overcome obstacles. And flexibility is the mindset that enables you to deviate from the plan and execute your workarounds. Now, if you're at all like me, your vision may also change over time. This is normal because as humans, we all evolve over time. Career choices that we make when we are, say, 20 years old may not be right for us when we have accumulated some wisdom and experience at, say, 25 or 30 years old. There's nothing at all wrong with this, as long as you're following the same rational thought process that leads you to a different vision for your career. If or when that happens, just repeat the process that I've outlined so far above. Set a new vision for your career, write it down, and work backwards to establish the milestones that you intend to reach along the way. By now, you probably know that IT service and support is a high turnover industry. In fact, the turnover among service desk agents is about 40% per year. So it would be highly unusual if you spent your entire career with one company or organization. Most of this turnover is made by choice. In other words, the agent makes the decision to take another job within the same organization or decides to leave and bring their talents to a different organization. For those who do actively manage their careers, these decisions represent a risk of sorts because you never know if your next position, either with your current organization or with another organization, is going to lead you in a better direction. But the worst thing you can do is get stuck, become stagnant, and bogged down in your career. So in many cases, not making a change, in other words, not getting out and moving on, is more risky than staying put. These decisions to stay or move on are very personal and depend upon your unique circumstances and risk tolerance. So I wouldn't dare to give you any hard and fast advice about when to move on or when to stay put. But what I will say is this: be mindful of your progress, especially over longer periods of time, such as months or years. Those milestones that we talked about earlier, you should be achieving those, and you should be able to see and feel the progression of your career. If that's not the case, then it may be time to reevaluate your vision if you feel that it no longer reflects what you want from your career. Or it may be time to think about moving to a new role, either within your current organization or with an entirely new one. My personal experience is that those who do make a decision to move on, who take a calculated risk to better their careers, are almost always rewarded for that. They end up in a better place with better opportunities and a faster career trajectory. There is, of course, no guarantee that will happen, but taking risks, betting on yourself, is a very common personality trait among those who go further and faster in their careers. Risk is rewarded if managed properly. Okay, enough about vision and milestones. What about execution? How do you go about achieving those milestones and ultimately your career vision? The answer lies in modules 1 and 2 of this course. Recall that module 1 was to know what's expected of you, and module 2 was track your progress. Those two modules refer specifically to your job responsibilities, both hard targets and success behaviors, and not necessarily to your career path. Nevertheless, the general methodology can be applied to your career path. Each milestone that you expect to achieve along the way can be broken down into smaller pieces. These bite-sized pieces represent incremental progress towards each milestone and ultimately towards your long-term career vision. This is analogous to modules 1 and 2, knowing what's expected of you, module 1, and tracking your progress, module 2, because you're mapping out your career journey and tracking it to ensure that you're on schedule to hit each milestone and ultimately to achieve your long-term vision. Let's say, for example, that you're working at an entry level. We'll call it an agent level 1. Let's further assume that your 1-year milestone is to become an agent level 2. And finally, the steps needed to become an agent level 2 include, among other things, to get Microsoft certified in Azure Fundamentals and Office 365. Knowing that you need these certifications allows you to start planning ahead to achieve these sub-milestones, I will call them, that put you on a path to hitting your 1-year milestone and ultimately your long-term vision. So you can find out how to get certified. For example, can it be done with CBT, computer-based training? Also, when can you get certified? Put it on your calendar. This is just basic blocking and tackling. It's fundamentals. Hopefully you see the pattern here. From long-term vision to milestones to sub-milestones to the individual tasks that must be completed to accomplish each sub-milestone. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss the role of serendipity or good fortune in your career path. I'm deliberately not using the words luck or good luck because relying upon luck or hope is never a good strategy. Serendipity is something entirely different. Serendipity is the ability to recognize and seize an opportunity when it presents itself. It was Louis Pasteur, famous French scientist, who said, "Opportunity favors only the prepared mind." This is as true today as it was in 1854 when it was first spoken. But opportunity is oftentimes disguised. It might appear as a setback or something entirely unexpected to you, or it might appear to be nothing. But the prepared mind is observant enough to look beneath the surface and see opportunities that may not be so obvious. Let's quickly review what we've learned in this module. First, recognize that no one is going to manage your career for you. It's something you have to take ownership of and manage yourself. Secondly, know what interests you as well as what you're good at. Do a skills assessment. Now, take advantage of the resources already available to you, whether it's a career path that has already been documented by HR or a mentor who might be willing to give you career advice. Then set your goals. Establish a long-term vision for where you want to be and write it down. Work backwards from that vision to establish milestones along the way. Now, execute your plan, but recognize that plans never go as planned, so a creative and flexible mindset is helpful as you pivot and find workarounds to achieve your goals. Lastly, be alert to opportunities that present themselves along the way and be prepared to take reasonable risks. Ultimately, your career success is about betting on yourself. If you follow the simple guidelines outlined in this module, I believe that you can be successful beyond your wildest dreams. Congratulations, you have now completed Module 6 of 10 success factors for service desk agents. I look forward to seeing you in the next module.